On this week's show, the Nissan LEAF gets recalled, Tesla runs a 20-hour lottery for customers to win tickets to the Model 3 reveal event, and why Consumer Reports thinks you should avoid buying a used BMW i3. These stories and more coming up next on 10. Enjoying today's show on YouTube and want to read the stories we're referring to today? Just head to our website at transportevolved.com/TEN, where you'll find today's show notes as well as links to the latest future car news, buying guides, tech primers and car reviews. It's Friday, March 18th, 2016. I'm Nikki Gordon-Bloomfield and we're finally getting some sunshine here in Portland, Oregon, recently proclaimed the #1 place in the US to buy and own an electric car. Now you know why we moved here. We start today's show with an important service recall notice for anyone in North America with a 2012 through 2015 Nissan LEAF electric car. Back in October last year, Nissan quietly announced a new service campaign for its popular electric car after discovering that in certain extremely cold situations, a relay connected to the car's brake system, namely the relay which operates the vacuum-assisted air pump, could freeze, leaving the car without power brakes and instead requiring the driver to apply more force to stop the car. While there were no accidents or injuries reported alongside the fault, Nissan classified the issue as a voluntary service campaign, but under pressure from Transport Canada agreed earlier this year to upgrade the service campaign into a full-blown recall. At the same time, it notified the US National Highway Traffic Safety Administration it would upgrade the service campaign into a recall in the US as well. The fix, which is apparently a reprogramming of the relay's control computer to ensure it won't freeze up in cold weather, can be done at your local Nissan dealer, and Nissan says customers will be contacted in due course to ensure the recall is effectively carried out. In the meantime, you can find more details of the recall at our site, at the ussafercar.gov website, or by contacting your local Nissan dealership. A car which won't be getting a full-blown recall but will be getting a bit of an over-the-air software update for safety's sake is the Tesla Model S, a car that for the most part has earned its reputation as one of the safest cars on the planet. As reported this week, following the conclusion of its own internal investigation into the spontaneous combustion of a Tesla Model S at a charging station in Norway earlier this year, the California automaker says it will be sending a software update to all cars to ensure that there is extra security during charging at any of its supercharger locations worldwide. The original fire, which happened back in January, burnt a customer's car to the ground while it was charging at a supercharger location in Norway. But having worked with authorities, Tesla has confirmed that although it has deemed the cause of the fire to be a short circuit inside the vehicle, it's not 100% sure why it happened. Nevertheless, to ensure it doesn't happen again, despite it being unlikely in the first place, Tesla says the update should provide the extra security needed to keep things extra safe. Will it change charging times? Well, it's unlikely, but if we hear it does, we'll let you know. Staying with Tesla but moving to happier times with this next story, the California automaker held what can only be described as the shortest prize draw we've ever seen this week, giving existing Tesla customers just 20 hours to enter their names into a virtual prize draw for the chance to be one of 650 lucky customers to win 2 tickets to the Tesla Model 3 reveal event on March 31st. As we've explained in previous weeks, the Model 3 is going to be unlike previous Tesla events, with a tightly controlled guest list. In fact, less than 800 people are expected to attend, with the majority of invited guests chosen at random from Tesla's lottery. Winners should already have received their invites, giving them just under 2 weeks to arrange transportation and accommodation. Given the hype over the launch event, though, I'm guessing that won't be particularly difficult if they're actually going to be one of the lucky few in attendance. Which brings me to the final Tesla story of the day, even if it's technically an extension of the last one. You see, with Tesla Model 3 event just under 2 weeks away, we and other sites have been inundated with artwork purporting to be leaked images of the Tesla Model 3. But just like other sites, we're not buying it. Indeed, while folks online are eagerly trading badly photoshopped images made by teenagers late at night, Tesla itself has finally confirmed that we'll see fully working Model 3 prototypes at the launch event, despite Elon Musk previously hinting that we'd just see a static mock-up or worse still, some rendered images. Will there be test drives? Well, even with just 800 people in attendance, we're not expecting it. Any car in attendance is likely to be an alpha prototype with its own quirks and peculiarities, which Tesla will want to keep an eye on. Nevertheless, the idea that the Model 3 is already moving bodes well for the company, which really needs the Model 3 to hit the market on time and on budget by the end of 2018. Let's just hope Tesla's timing is a little better than Google's, which, as we told you this week, finally received its patent decision for a bus detection algorithm, weeks after one of its self-driving Lexus hybrids hit a bus in downtown San Francisco. Designed to make its autonomous cars safer and smarter on the road, the algorithm uses a whole set of sensors to help Google's cars to correctly identify and react to a bus. But while most headlines focused on how funny it was for Google to get this patent, first submitted 2 years ago after it had had an unfortunate crash with a bus, it's worth noting that the patent is for school bus detection rather than public bus detection. Specifically, the system described in Google's patent is designed to ensure that autonomous vehicles identify a school bus on the road and behave appropriately when the bus turns on its big flashing signs and prepares to stop. It's not clear if Google has been using the now patented software at the time of last month's collision, but we're glad to see it continually strive for better, safer and smarter autonomous vehicle technology. Staying on the subject of safety a little longer, news came this week of a landmark deal struck between the US National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety, and 20 different automakers who sell cars in the US. Announced on Thursday, the deal means that 99% of all new cars sold in the US will include autonomous emergency braking, a system designed to apply the brakes in time if you don't, as a standard fit item on virtually all new cars and light-duty trucks by 2022. Many, like Tesla Motors and Volvo, already include AEB on their vehicles as standard, but the rest, large and small automakers alike, say they'll add it to their vehicles before the deadline, reducing accidents and injuries as a consequence of failing to stop in time. By 2025, the same agreement promises virtually all trucks with a weight of less than 10,000 pounds will have the same feature, making the roads a far safer place to be for everybody. And from a place where auto braking is a good idea to one where it isn't, in the action-packed world of Formula E. Despite only being in its second year, Formula E has earned itself quite a lot of attention from both major automakers and the motorsport industry. And this week we brought you the news that BMW and Nissan, two automakers who are yet to officially become Formula E manufacturers, are reportedly considering just that for future Formula E race series. As reported by Autosport midweek, the two automakers, which both make their own line of electric cars, are keen to get involved in the FIA-approved race series as soon as possible, joining Formula E for the 2016-2017 season as technology partners or sponsors before becoming fully fledged manufacturers for the following 2017-18 season. Right now, BMW supplies Formula E with specially prepared BMW i3 and BMW i8 electric cars for use as medical and safety cars on track, while Nissan is of course connected by its association thanks to its alliance partner Renault. But moving forward, it's clear that we're going to see more and more automakers jump on board as the case for electric motorsport gets more compelling with every passing year. From one story involving BMW to another now, but this time it might not please those eager to get their hands on a used BMW i3 electric car. That's because earlier this week, US-based Consumer Reports named and shamed early 2014 model year BMW i3 electric cars as vehicles you should avoid buying used, citing lower than average reliability issues. Recording 2006 through 2015 model year cars, the list, published in this month's Consumer Reports magazine, details a large number of BMW branded vehicles, with the 5 Series among its top vehicles to avoid if you're buying used, worse than the i3. But it wasn't just BMW and the i3 though. Tesla Motors got a dishonourable mention too. The 2013 Nissan LEAF, which was average in its reliability last year, is now also listed as below average, although other Nissan LEAF model years are still average to better than average in terms of reliability. This, however, is the first time we've heard of either the BMW i3 or Nissan LEAF having a plethora of problems, so if you've got either, do leave your own reliability experiences for each car in the comments below. And finally, what's the similarity between an electric car battery pack and a pint of beer? Apparently, they both like being topped off. At least that's according to Nissan, which told Automotive News this week that it's invented a new charge profile for its LEAF electric car that allows an extra 0.7% of energy to be stored in the car's battery pack at the end of each charge cycle. How? By letting the battery pack rest for short periods before applying a very low short charge cycle as the battery nears full, allowing those ions already in the battery pack to rearrange themselves and make space for more ions to squeeze onto the electrode. It's essentially the equivalent of waiting for the bubbles on a pint of beer to die down before topping the pint off with more beer, and it will give you about an extra 0.7 of a mile of range by my calculations. Just don't mix alcohol and charging, or cars and alcohol for that matter. What I most certainly won't be mixing up this weekend is which of the two Transport Evolved staff cars I'll be using for weekend errands. That's because while our staff Toyota RAV4 EV is now happily road registered and road legal, we've got to replace a dead battery module before we can really put it through its paces on the road, or we might run out of charge. Bother. As usual, we'll be back next week with the same show, spring break and children pending. But in the meantime, you can find all the news that's fit to print on our website at transportevolve.com. Catch up with us on Twitter at transportevolve, or check out our latest shows on our usual YouTube channel. And if you liked what you saw today, keep us independent and impartial by visiting our Patreon page at patreon.com/transportevolved and pledging your support from as little as $1 per month. Everything we do is funded by your donations. So the more donations we get, the more fun things we can do and the more content we can produce. So if you haven't already, please do consider donating. As always, there's a lot we haven't managed to fit into today's show, including details of Toyota's mysterious new Toyota Prius plug-in hybrid due to be launched next week at the New York Auto Show, why your Tesla Model X might have been personally inspected by Elon Musk, why Volkswagen's rumoured XL3 hybrid has nothing at all to do with the original futuristic XL1 fuel sipper, and GM acquires a new autonomous vehicle startup company for a cool $1 billion. So when we're done, be sure to head to our site to read them all. Thanks for watching. I'm Nikki Gordon-Bloomfield. Have a great weekend, and until next time, keep evolving.